Hi, I'm Shannon Smith. This is my presentation of a teacher's toolkit for students with autism spectrum disorder. I teach in a junior high 6th through 12th, not anymore, 6th through 8th grade, students age 11 to 15. And in my toolkit, I have included noise canceling earphones, first then task cards, and a timer. So what are some symptoms that are looked at when diagnosing a child with autism spectrum disorder? We're all familiar with the common back and forth or swaying, rocking motions, a reduced eye contact, trouble following social cues. Some others include echolalia, repetitive play or motion, and having a fixated interest in certain objects or things. While these may not be that noticeable early, the more that there's pressure or demands put on those students, the more these may show up. So who can diagnose? That needs to come from a qualified professional, such as a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a developmental pediatrician. And how do they do that? They use assessment tools. They use interviews and from the parent, the caregiver, or guardian to gather information about that student and their developmental history. They may look at the educator and ask questions about how they're performing in school. So what does it look like? What does autism spectrum disorder look like in the classroom? There are positive outlooks on that. It can include a strong attention for details, so maybe they're very particular about how a certain activity is performed or where something is located in the classroom. Maybe they can remember things that other students can't remember or recall great detail from some time ago. They have, again, fixated interest or a specific interest in certain topics. But it could also be difficult for these students in school and in classrooms. They could be socially isolated. They may not have very many friends. They possibly could be victims of bullying because they have a communication difference, or they're just misunderstood. Their sensory needs, as they can be hyper or hyposensitive, might be misinterpreted as rude or defiant. And then other characteristics that you might see would be, again, difficulty interpreting social cues, as well as the sensory sensitivities that I mentioned. Some of those could be the loud noises or lights. You may, if you're able to use a dimmer or controlled lighting, put covers up over your light fixtures so that the fluorescent lights of the classroom aren't quite so bright. These students may be resistant to change and having their routine disrupted. And then the communication. They may not fully understand what you're telling them or what is expected of them. So what does that look like at school for education? Well, schools are obligated to provide free and appropriate public education. They are required to offer the least restrictive environment for these students. In their IEPs, those should be individualized to that one student, not your whole class. So look at what is going to benefit that student the most when you're writing your IEPs. Transition for us here in Texas starts at age 14. I know some states maybe are a little different, but we look at transition beginning usually at the end of 7th to 8th grade and then through high school. So we start at age 14. What kind of supports can teachers use? You can apply the ABA strategies and techniques. Visual supports like a visual schedule, a social stories to help guide and explain to these students what's going to be next. Help, like a visual schedule would help show routines, make them clear, predictable, so that there's not sudden changes that are unexpected or anything. Okay, so the first tool I have in my kit is first and then cards. So first then cards are a visual support that shows what the student must accomplish first to get the next step. So then usually the first card is a task that maybe they don't want to do so much. And the then card is a reward for completing that task. So these cards can help things like reduce the anxiety that students might have with completing an assignment if they know that they're going to get something after they complete so many steps. It can make the transition to activities a little smoother so that they know what's coming next. These cards are they're free to not very much. You can find them on Amazon or places like Teacher Pay Teacher. At our TEA website, I've found templates for several different cards and visual aids, and so I have included that link, and you can just download or print the template and make whatever, customize it to your student. Okay, my second tool is noise canceling headphones. These headphones help to block the noise that sometimes can cause anxiety with our ASD students. It helps to relieve stress by taking that off of them and allows them to focus more. I've personally been able to use these on field trips as well as pep rallies where maybe the noise, the student wants to participate, see the football players run out, the cheerleaders, but the crowd and the band is just too much. So the headphones really help so that they can still participate in those activities. Again, it depends what type you want to get. They range from 15 to 50, but depending upon the brand you select, they can go on up in price from there. We typically order ours from Amazon, so I've included a link here that just shows some different types of the headphones that you can select. And my final tool is a timer. There's many different kind of timers that can be used. Timers just help let the student know kind of a time frame, but how long will this activity last? Is this for work or is it for reward? And it can be an indicator as to when it's time to switch tasks. For me, these that I have in the picture were not that successful because my student was, if it was a preferred task that he's only getting his reward time, he would then select the dial and increase what he could, his minutes he could have. So I switched to using, I actually use my phone and I hold it and set a timer. We have timers that are included on our smart boards that we can set up big to be seen all across the room. I've used timers as to help with personal care tasks such as brushing your teeth so that they know how long they have to brush their teeth. Again, it can range, you know, $5 to $50 depending on what kind of timer you get, or again, use your cell phone and it's free. So let's see. Next. So one thing that I did not learn and I would like to have more knowledge and information about are students who elope, and what kind of tools are available to help with the elopement. I had one student who made a game out of it, so he thought it was funny every time he would run out, and as long as he was in the hallway it wasn't a big deal until he started running out of the building and down the street. So I recently learned I will be getting a couple of new elopers, no additional aids, so any insight or suggestions for elopement is welcomed. A couple of resources that I found helpful for this toolkit project, again, is the TEA website and Autism Speaks. And I've mentioned here, but they both have downloadable resources that you can use, and I include links to both of them on my reference page. And so in doing this project, while I've used these strategies before, it became more clear to me how important it is for all staff involved with that student to use the same tools, be consistent across the board, and share with the other teachers so that when they have that student in their class, they're not expecting them to do a different type of routine, and that way the students will have less anxiety as they complete and transition through the classroom and through the day. And then here is my reference page. Again, there are links here included to Autism Speaks and the TEA website with templates. And I hope you have enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.